You have for us.
We have a question from, if I pronounce this wrong, I am so sorry. It's from Matrusane, and it's 3616. And it's from your video, Why Feminine Women Should Not Date Broke. And the question is, dating women is confusing. Sometimes, especially when femininity is where femininity is concerned. How do men see the difference?
Right. So this is another question from a guy. And the video was why feminine women should not date broke.
Yes.
And I believe I was talking about why, as a woman, you shouldn't be broke.
Yes.
And, you're hungry.
Yes.
You can't pay your bills.
Yeah.
You can't make ends meet, and you're out here dating.
Yes.
Because what happens is you come out into the dating world like a gold digger. You come into the dating world to use men and to, and also you come out unprepared, and you also put yourself in a vulnerable position where if this man pays for this, now you have to sleep with him or whatever it is. So a woman needs to have that security of her own. You don't have to be rich, but you need to know that, I can get there, I can get back, and if he doesn't pay the bill, I can cover it, and at the end of the day, I have a degree of, that self-independence, so you're not kind of getting into these kind of feral behaviors and being kind of usury, using men, because sometimes women find themselves in those positions where they're using men and men are using them, and it's this horrible toxic dynamic if you don't have something of your own. And I think I was saying that, people might say, well, Chengi, that's because you have stuff. And I'm like, no, I used to work 3 jobs and still not earn enough. But whenever I would not accept a date unless I knew I could afford the cab there, the cab back, and I could afford to pay the bill if he was not a gentleman and, didn't want to pay. So that's what that video was about. I believe this gentleman was saying that he's getting confused. What's the difference between a woman being feminine and a woman using you for dinner?
Yes.
I believe that was part of the question that he asked. And the truth of the matter is, none of us in this world can really tell a person's intention for us. Because we have a whole bunch of people who are psychologically wired to take from people.
Yes.
And you can't change that. I know that men find it difficult because, there's this expectation for them to be providing, to pay for dates and do this. And you genuinely like this girl. You're genuinely interested in this woman. And you don't really know if she likes you or whether she just wants to go and have a free meal, a bit of entertainment, something to do. And your behind has kind of invested all of this money. And, I don't think women often realize that if a guy is dating you, he's spending money. And even if he's dating 5 of you, spending money on 5 of you, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially if he's not a man that earns. So when that guy's paying for that dinner or paying for that coffee, he really is investing. For some guys, dinners and coffees are not investments, they're spends, right? But for most guys to pay for dinners is really him saying, look, I really like you and I really want to get to know you and I really want to take this further. But here's the problem is, and one of the things that men are not aware of is that they have 21 genes in their sperm dedicated to intuition alone. That's a lot of equipment. And intuition is your ability to read the unspoken. And one of the things men will be like, no, we're not that intuitive. Women are intuitive. No, women are instinctive. We've got a high instinct. And we do have intuition, but our instincts are a lot more sharper because instincts are more connected to the emotions. Intuition is more connected to the mind. Now, one of the things why nature passed down the gene from generation to generation and gave it to men to be intuitive is because a man has to be able to look at his world and sense dangers quite quickly so that he can protect.
Yes.
He needs to be ahead. I always say when I'm walking with my son, the way he's seeing the world is very different from the way I'm seeing the world. When a man is walking with his woman, he's checking every angle, every corner. He's walking down the street with his woman, but it's a whole different psychology. We're just walking along. We're interested in what we have to say to him and the conversation we're having. Honey, hold my hand. Sweetie, can you buy me? We're so oblivious because, we have this protector. So men are seeing the world very differently. And that's why intuition is so important because a man has to be intuitive about that other man coming towards him. And he has to intuitively see that through certain markers, certain micro expressions, and that intuition in his genes, meaning the knowledge passed down from man to man to man,
Yes.
that this is dangerous,
Yes.
right? Because they didn't know to run away from lions until that was coded into a man's genes. And so I always say that men are highly intuitive, but even more important than that is a man will see 5 women in the room and he will know which one will sleep with him tonight.
Yes.
Which one is gonna she's gonna sleep with me tonight, and she won't take very much in the way of persuasion. She's gonna give me a run for my money. She's gonna be. So if men can quickly do that, and men do that fast.
Yes. Yeah.
With us women, you can charm us into anything. You know,
Yes.
tell us the right thing,
Yes.
and we're gone.
Yeah.
But a man can tell she's an easy one. They have that ability. And so with biology and science and common sense tells us that you knew what this woman wanted from you. You knew it. Your intuition told you this chick is wasting your time. She just wants a night out. But why did you go ahead and do it? Because you're being driven by your sex drive. So let's call a spade a spade. A lot of men haven't got discipline. They don't have sexual discipline. In the same way as women don't have emotional discipline, right? A woman's weakness is in her emotions. A man's weakness is in his sexuality. If a man does not discipline his sexuality, he is fodder. You are going to buy dinners for every woman in town and none of them will shag you, right? Because you're not using your brain. You are using your driver, and you're doing, if I buy her dinner, maybe, but you already know. If you're a man men who practice semen retention, men who practice sexual discipline, hardly ever get played. We all get played. But it's the same thing as women that who practice emotional discipline, emotional mastery. They are more player proof. Because they're going to lean back and say, okay, that's what he's saying, but where's his actions? Same thing with a man. And what men are now being taught is, well, stop taking them for dinner and take them for coffee.
Yes.
Right? Reduce the investment. Take them for a walk in the park. That way you will know. And here's the thing. I was talking to one client. It was like, I take women to dinner and they just use me for their Instagram and I was like, I understand. Turned out he doesn't know how to set boundaries. I was like, why didn't you tell her that is not acceptable behavior? I know why he didn't tell her, because if he tells her, he might not get laid.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? If he says, I don't appreciate you, would it be okay if you put your phone away while we have dinner? Instead of taking pictures and videos, would it be okay if you did that? Because I would find that so much more respectful. If I say that I won't get laid. When you asked this girl on a date and you knew she wasn't interested, you told yourself, if I take her to the best restaurant.
Yeah. Yes.
That's not going to change when it comes to coffee. You're still taking the same usury woman to coffee. She doesn't like you. But in your mind, you think, well, at least it only cost me £5. But you're not learning any skills.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So why don't we learn some skills? Because if we can learn some skills, then I said to him, he said, maybe I should be taking them to coffee. I was like, but it's the same guy taking the same girl to a different location, albeit spending less, but it doesn't solve the problem.
Yes.
It doesn't solve the foundational problem. The foundational problem is you don't know how to pick them. Number 2, you have no sexual discipline. So you're spending all this money on all this women, and you know this chick wants to just take pictures for Instagram. You know it. But you're hoping if you really spend enough money and you take her to a really nice place, she's gonna... No, honey. There are a lot of beautiful, kind, sweet women that deserve a dinner from you.
Yeah.
That do like you. That do want to spend time with you. And maybe she might be at a 5 out of 10. But if you treat her well and you take her to dinner and you plan for her, that raises her attraction, because her inner, more primitive brain is like, provider, protector, charity. We're attracted to the man who's going to give us that safety. And so if you show up and you do what you do as a man and you say, look, I can put a meal on the table.
Yes.
Right? The very least I can do for you, woman, is put a meal on the table.
Yes.
Right? I'm declaring to you that I know who I am. I know that I'm a man. But choose a worthy woman.
Yes.
Choose a woman that you know likes you. Choose a woman that is in your league. Choose a woman that is going to, I always say there are women in every league of life that are beautiful. From models down to regular Chengis and Yvonne's, right?
Yeah.
Regular girls like us, right? In every echelon, right? There are women that are beautiful and kind.
Yes.
Just know yourself, know what you're capable of doing. And some men as well, men in general are smart. They will date in their league or under. But some guys, they think I've got money and that should entitle me to that. But when it comes to sexual relations, when we're talking about the intersection of male and female, it is about masculine and feminine. Because as rich as you are, a broke guy with masculine energy will take your woman and run off with her. Right? That's the truth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think men need to understand that women primarily want masculinity, a man who knows who he is, who won't tolerate disrespect under any circumstances whatsoever. If a man, I said to my son, you must understand this, and I say this to my male clients as well, your self-respect and being respected, disrespected, should be a number one non-negotiable for you as a man.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how pretty she is, doesn't matter how cute she is. If she disrespects you, she has been disqualified.
Yes.
And if men would have that mindset about themselves that, look, it's respect or nothing. Even if she wanted to use you, her attraction for you is going to rise. Even if she wasn't, and we're attracted to, we desire men who respect themselves and will not tolerate our disrespect. Because if I can disrespect you, you can't protect me. Because I'm a little, I am 5'2", honey. I'm little, okay? If I can disrespect you and you will take it because you want to get laid, my attraction for you long term is going to go down, because do you let other men disrespect you too?
Yeah.
So what if a man walks up to me and tries to talk to me and you're there? If you take disrespect from me as a woman who has no physical ability to go toe to toe with you, you're going to take disrespect from the world. You are not a safe man, right? And therefore, nature tells me that my attraction for you must lower, and I must now find a real man, or what we call a real man, as in AKA a masculine man. Yeah. So I always say to men, if you want to raise a woman's attraction, don't mess with how you date. If you are a guy that takes a woman to dinner, take a woman to dinner, but know who you are and know what you will and will not accept, regardless. If a woman disrespects you, check her in a way that is very polite, very loving. If that doesn't get the result, walk away.
Yes.
And if men would master their sexuality, if they would say, you know what, I want to get laid and she's cute, but never at the expense of my dignity, never at the expense of my masculinity, and never at the expense of my self-respect. 99.9% of this question, how do I know the difference? You won't even have to ask yet.
Yeah, and it goes back to education, isn't it?
Yes.
It's, as we were talking before, that because there's no one to educate our young men, and even some of the older ones, because whereas before it was okay, now everyone is a lot more savvy than they are, but there's no education for anyone anywhere. So everyone feels that they've got carte blanche. And if this continues to happen with this gentleman, he's going to be the one that's writing the question, wanting to know about masculine men. And, I can get another trophy, because that's all that he's been doing. If he doesn't learn now to, ask the right questions, do the right things, take care of you, but most importantly, respect you first.
100%. 100%. I want a world where men respect and love themselves.
Yeah.
I won't entertain a man that does not respect or love himself, because he can't respect and love me.
Yeah.
There's no way. You have to practice that self-love. You have to practice that self-respect. If I see a man who I can just tell him jump and he jumps, you're not my husband, you're not my man, I'm not interested. And I'm a very respectful and respecting woman.
Yeah.
So for me, I want to see men, because I love men. I've always said this, I keep saying it, because men have been good to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Men, I had a great relationship with my father. He was a good man was a good father to me. He has a lot to answer for, and no one's perfect. And my brother was a great protector, and the men around me were protectors. They were providers. I grew up in a way where men cherished me. I've been cherished greatly. I have been honored. I'm one of these women who will be in a room full of 10 men and I'm always welcome. I've never felt unwelcome amongst men. So, and I have a son, whom I love dearly. But I love men. And I always thought God would make me work with men, because in school, girls didn't want to be my friend. So boys would be my friend. So I grew up always with boys as friends, and maybe one girlfriend that loved me, So I have a passion for men. And I truly believe that the work we do here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy with women is really producing quality women, that high quality men who are champions, who are working on themselves, can have access to great women. Our work, we have a lot of work to do on the planet, because we have to do, there's a lot of undoing we have to do. And to anyone who is open, who is willing to learn, to grow, the Black Swan Relationship Academy is here for you. We are here for you, and we love you, and we're going to say goodbye. Have you got any final words before we do
My
that?
final word is, for all you wonderful gentlemen out there, is to take care of you. Yeah. Take care of you the very best way that you can. And remember, the way you treat you is how others will treat you.
And that would be an amen. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, liked, shared, commented, please do. And go into the description, because there'll be plenty of stuff in there for you too. And we will see you on our next podcast. Leave your comments below. We're going to be reading it, and you never know, we might be commenting on your comment next time we are here. In the meantime, you are so loved. Take care of you.
Bye, everyone.